Start on your back, so make your way down to your back. And if you have a stiff back or stiff hips or stiff hamstrings, keep your knees bent. Take a moment just to tuck your shoulder blades under so that your shoulders come away from your ears. And then relax your back down. You can have your arms slightly open just to give your chest a little bit of an opening. See if you can relax your shoulders into the mat. Relax your hips into the mat. Allow your head to become nice and heavy. I'm just taking a moment here to find your breath. So whatever you had to do this morning to get to this class, just settling the breath back down. So inhaling slowly through your nose if it's not stuffed up. And exhaling softly through the nose. And just scanning your body, noticing the things you might be holding or clenching or tightening. See if you can send breath there just to soften. We'll just be here for a couple of minutes and then we'll start with a little more movement. So allowing yourself a bit of stillness. And as always, as we go through class today, just remembering to listen to your body first. So I offer a pose, but then find that pose in your body. So the ways that you need to adjust to make it a little more comfortable for whatever tightnesses or injuries that you have going on today. Every day is different. Slowing down the breath just a little bit more. Softening the muscles in the face, the eyebrows, the cheeks, the jaw. See if you can loosen the jaw a little bit. Let it hang heavily. If your knees are bent and you feel like you can straighten your legs on your mat, you can go for it. Otherwise, just stay as you are. I'll be offering different variations of poses. Hopefully that can meet each body today. So just choosing the one that works for you today. If you like a little movement and stillness drives you crazy, just taking your head from side to side as you breathe. So bringing your ear all the way to one side. Perhaps it meets the mat, perhaps it doesn't. Just being nice and gentle with the neck. And gently bringing it to the other side. If you do anything for the next 45 minutes, let it be that you stay with your breath. So just inhale, exhale. It sounds easy, but we tend to forget and hold. Taking the head to each side just one more time, nice and slowly, following your own pace. Bringing it back to center whenever you've finished. Everybody taking their legs long on the mat and taking your arms above the head. Just giving a nice big stretch, reaching above you and pointing with the toes. And then bring the knees into the chest and give them a hug. Just gently rocking from side to side here, massaging the hips onto the mat. Maybe you can take your hips all the way to one corner, inviting in a little balance play. Take it all the way to one side and the other. With the knees staying in towards the chest, bring the hands down to the ground on either side of you and allow the knees to fall to one side. Nice and slowly, loosening them up if you need to, finding a twist on one side. Bring your arms open to a T. If you need to adjust your shoulders and bring them back down again, sometimes they creep up to the ears. And then allow the legs to relax. Sometimes the legs can be really stiff in this position, so see what you can do to adjust just for your body. Gaze can be towards the ceiling, or you can turn your head in the opposite direction of your knees for a full twist. Once you've found your position, can you send your breath into the side of the rib cage that's open towards the ceiling? Allowing a bit of length as you inhale into the belly. Staying like this just for 2 more breaths. As you finish up that last breath in this pose, taking your head back to center. Tighten up the core as you bring the knees back to center. Give your knees a squeeze. Perhaps reaching your nose towards the knees into a little ball. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Release your head back down to the mat, and we'll find that on the other side. So take your hands down to support you. Allow the knees to fall to one side. See where you need to adjust in this pose so that it's not too stiff. Perhaps loosening or straightening the legs, whatever you need to do. Relaxing those shoulders away from the ears again. And then finding your neck position on this side, gazing at the ceiling or allowing the head to fall in the opposite direction. And then find the breath, inhaling through the nose, down to the belly. And just staying for a few breaths, allowing the body to become nice and heavy and fully supported by the ground beneath you. We'll bring the head back to center. Fire up that core, and then bring the knees back to center. You can place the feet on the mat first, and then bring the knees in for a squeeze. Perhaps bringing the nose toward the knees, squeezing it out. Releasing the head back down and placing both feet on the mat with your knees bent. We'll take the right ankle to the left knee. Shoestring pose or figure 4 pose. You can stay here. See how this feels? Just resting that ankle over the knee, allowing that knee to become relaxed. Perhaps that's enough. If you'd like to come into a deeper stretch, you can bring the knees towards the chest and clasp behind your left thigh. Now, if the head has come off the ground, see if you can relax the head back down. As we breathe here, see if you can bring breath into the groin. So sometimes we squeeze in our groin area when we're in this pose. Just see if we can soften the belly, soften the pelvic floor muscles. Just using the breath to expand. Staying for 2 more breaths here. As you stay here, perhaps take the knees a little over to the left to see how that feels. I find bringing the knee over 2 inches increases the stretch in my right glute, so the muscles around my sit bone. It may be different in your body. We'll bring it back to center. We'll slide that ankle until the right knee is over the left knee. So knee over knee. Yeah, and then squeeze those knees into the chest. Perhaps clasping onto the knees and giving them a little pull in towards the chest. Yeah. One big breath here. Perhaps letting a vocal sigh out. And we'll release that. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So bringing the feet back down to the mat. Left ankle over right knee this time. And see what this side needs. Perhaps this one doesn't want to come towards the chest. Maybe it's good just staying like this with the head on the mat. If you wanted to invite a little more of a stretch, bringing those legs toward the chest, clasping behind the right thigh this time. Relaxing the arms as much as you can. And then again, finding the breath here. Where are you holding tension? Where are you squeezing? If you are, see if you can send some breath there. Softening the muscles in the face. Gently pressing the head into the mat. And stay for one more breath here. And then we'll switch it like we did last time. So just sliding that ankle all the way over to the right until the knee is over knee. Bring those knees in towards the chest if you can. Give them a little squeeze. Ooh. This is when I realize how tight my hips are. And release that. Straighten out the legs on the mat, uncross them, bring the arms over the head, give a pencil stretch, reaching above you, pointing the toes. And then we'll grab onto that strap. Hopefully it's close enough to reach. With the left foot on the mat, knee bent, we're going to take the strap around the right foot. So having the other knee bent and foot on the floor just supports the lower back, so it's not an overstretch. Yeah, so bring the strap around the ball of your foot. Tuck those shoulders back in again. Just notice if they've creaked up to the ears and see if you can tuck them away. See if you can bring the hands or the elbows down to the mat so they're relaxed. Really depends on how long your leg is or how long your strap is, but see if you can relax the arms. Okay, so now we're allowing the leg to become heavy in the strap. So finding a stretch in the back of the leg, and often we want to like pull the strap as much as we can and create as much tension as we can. But let's try doing the opposite of that. Let's just relax the leg into the strap until the leg feels relaxed enough to stretch. You can add a little tension if you like and just see what that does. Some people need to keep their knee bent, and that's okay too. We'll stay like this for one more breath. Really allow that leg to become heavy. Going to gather the strap into the right hand, and we're going to let the leg open to the right. Right leg opens to the right. So again, adjust this in your body. Perhaps it only opens a couple inches. Perhaps it falls all the way to the ground. Whatever that is for you. Perhaps there's bed in your way or something like that. Then rest it on the bed. Once you've found that place that you can hold for a few breaths, find the breath. Nice. See if you can relax the arms. It's hard because it's holding a whole leg up. Okay, we'll start to bring the leg back to center. Now we're going to take it across the body. So it's just going to come to the left. Perhaps, again, just a few inches, or maybe you want to straighten the opposite leg so that you can come all the way over. Just noticing where the sensations are in your body, finding that stretch for you. Where does it feel good to hold it? Or the least amount of discomfort. It may not feel good. And a couple breaths here once you've found that spot. Staying for one more breath. And we'll start to bring it back to center. And we'll just do one more thing with this foot while we have it. I'm going to bring my other foot back on the mat just for more support of my lower back. Straps in both hands. So the leg is relaxed. I'm going to turn my foot in so that my baby toe is pointing away from me. Just a bit of an ankle stretch here. So I'm pushing into the strap with the outside edge of my foot. I can see the inside edge of my foot. Then I'm going to bring it back to center. And I'm going to try it again. Just a bit of an ankle stretch. With this ankle stretch, let's just take it 2 inches to the left. So across the body just a tiny bit. Pushing out through the pinky toe edge of your foot. See how that feels down the leg. Maybe you have tension there, maybe you don't. And then bring it back to center. So I'm going to switch feet. I'm just going to bring my other foot into the strap. Get there however you need to. And I'm going to place my other foot on the mat. So we'll come into this hamstring stretch here on this side. So back of the leg stretch for this side. What does this leg need? Maybe it needs to be a little closer to the ground. Allow the leg to fully relax. Let the strap do the work. Stay for 2 breaths here. Sending a little love to the feet. Do all the work. When you're ready, we'll take it over to the left. So opening up that leg to the outside, whatever that means for you. Could be a little bit, it could be a lot, whatever feels good today. Trying to keep both hips on the mat, wherever you find yourself. And then staying for 2 breaths here. Sending that breath to the groin or the inner thigh, wherever you're feeling that stretch. We'll take it back to center with control. All the way to center. And then we'll slowly take it across the body. So again, just being mindful here. Where do you feel the stretch? And once you find it, just stay there. There's no need to go all the way. Often if we go too far into a stretch, the muscle's holding on to protect itself, so you won't actually get a stretch. You'll get a muscle that's resisting the stretch. So we try to find that halfway point where you feel a bit of tension, but you can maintain it without too much discomfort. One more breath here. Back to center. And then again with the ankle stretch. So coming into the regular hamstring stretch here, relaxing the foot into the strap, and then just see what it feels like to turn the foot inward, pressing out through the outer edge, holding that for a breath. Now it's interesting on this side, I'm feeling a stretch in my knee. And then back to center. And then one more time, pushing out through the outer edge. Baby toe is away from the body. I can see the inside of my foot. And then see what it's like to take it to the right a little bit. So across the body a little bit. And back to center. We'll release the strap. Place the feet on the mat. Widen the feet, so widen the knees apart. And we'll just drop the knees from one side to the other. Windshield wiping the knees from side to side. One more time for each side. And whenever you're ready, you can straighten the legs and roll onto your stomach. Finding yourself back on your mat. We're going to press into the mat and find child's pose. You're going to press, bend the knees and send the hips towards the ankles or towards the heels or wherever they end up. Sometimes they don't get that far, and that's okay. Reaching the arms out in front of you and just stretching it back. Going to come back up to tabletop and do that again. So hands and knees. And then stretch it back. Sit bones towards the heel. One more time. Hands and knees. And stretch it back. Reaching those arms out in front of you, wherever they end up, walk them over to the right slightly. Take a deep breath into the side of your body that's being stretched. And walk them to the other side of the mat. Nice big inhale into the other side of your body that's on stretch. And back to center. Let's find hands and knees pose again. Hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. Yeah, awesome. Fingers are spread nice and wide. If this is too challenging on the wrist, you can come into fists. The hands often take some time to adjust to yoga and all the stuff that we do with the wrists. So you can do fists, fingers, or you can always come onto elbows when it becomes too much or if it becomes too much. Okay, from here, balance out your weight. Really press those fingers into the mat. We're going to take the right knee off the mat. And it's going to come out into what we call fire hydrant pose. You can imagine what a dog does to a fire hydrant in all the cartoons. So bring out the knee to the side. Now this could also be a couple inches or it could come all the way up, but listen to your body. We don't want anything pinched or any pain. So starting small, really activating the shoulders, pressing those arms into the mat, finding some control. We're just going to do 5 here. So listen to your body. If it's pinching as it comes up, don't go so high. You could just go a couple inches. You could go a couple feet. Exhaling as you lift. We'll go for 1 more. Activate those shoulders. Don't sink into them. Oh, I sit back down in the middle. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, strong hands, strong shoulders, strong back. When you're ready, left knee comes up and down 5 times, listening to your breath. Exhale as you lift to really activate that core. Grunt and groan if you need to. I think I've got 2 more left, but do as many as you can today, whatever that is. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 5, maybe it's 0. And 1 more. We're going to tuck the toes under and sit back onto your heels. So a foot stretch. Tuck as many toes as you can. They're all different lengths. Some don't, some don't tuck. And then sit back onto your heels. Ooh, big foot stretch. If that's too deep, keep your hands on the mat. If it's not, bring the arms open. And close. Thumb down, thumb open. Yes, come out whenever you need to. All of our feet go through different things in a day. Whew, let's bring the hands down and just gently pat the feet out. Okay, one more thing here in this position, a little bit more core activation. So back in hands and knees. Now, option 1 is to reach the right arm out and place it back. Left arm out and place it back. Option 2 is to do opposite hand to opposite leg. So it would be right arm reaching and left foot reaching back. So see what feels right for you today, your energy level. Finding that balance, spreading those fingers of the hand that's on the mat, keeping the back nice and flat, and just gazing at the top of the mat as you do this, just to keep your neck in line. Those look really good, nice control. And if you're looking for option 3, you can always take the elbow to the knee in the middle. I'm going to keep it with the lengthening myself today. Stay with that breath. Nice control, everybody. Okay, we'll try one more on each side, whichever option you're choosing today. Nice. Finishing up when you're ready. From here, we'll come into downward facing dog. So tuck the toes under. Press your hands into the mat. Send the bum high. And then send the chest towards the knees. Now, if you're like me and you have tight legs, you can bend the knees just to relieve some pressure in the back. Oh, this first down dog, just pedaling one heel out and then the other. Spreading those fingers on the mat to support the wrists. Allowing the head to relax down. If you're uncomfortable in this position, it's not a comfortable position, so it's okay. You're probably doing it right. Whatever right is. One more heel down and then the other. And then once you've had enough, bend both knees nice and deeply. Nice strong upper body. You're going to step your feet towards the top. So however you got to get there, I have to lift my hand up to get there and then lift my other hand. Bend the knees, nice stretch here, reaching towards the ground. And then inhale, flat back, straighten the legs. So you're in L shape. Exhale, fold forward once more. Soften the knees. Allow yourself to hang forward with bent knees. And as you inhale, you're going to bend deeply in the knees. Sit back into your heels. So you're almost in a chair here. And then reach all the way up. Press through the feet. Come all the way up. Exhale your hands down through center. Nice. Bring your weight into, we'll practice some balancing play here. So if your balance is typically off, you can grab onto something, find a wall. Or we're just going to play a little bit here. So bring a weight into your left foot. Hands can be on your hips for a little more support. And then we're going to make circles with that right heel. See if you can keep the hips level. Gentle bend in the supporting leg. Nice. We'll go for one more. Oof. And then place that foot down and switch sides. So really spread the toes out here. Spread the foot. Find that balance. Gaze at something in front of you that's not moving. And when you're ready. Nice. We'll go for two more. Place the foot back on the mat. Take your right foot and cross it behind your left. Bend in that front knee. And then right arm, same arm as leg, that's behind. Arm comes up for a side body stretch. So the right leg is behind and the right arm is up. And back to center. We'll try it on the other side. Left leg steps behind, a little bit of a bend in the front leg. Left arm comes up. Nice. And back to center. Inhale, reach it up, come to the top of your mat. Reach up to the ceiling. Exhale, fold forward. Allow yourself to bend your knees whenever you need to. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Place the fingertips on the mat and step back with your right foot. We're going to come into a low lunge. So drop the knee. If you like, take a moment to pad the knee so you can fold your, how you fold your mat up when you're on it. You fold the mat up if you need to. That's going to work for me. Come into that low lunge here, fingertips on the ground, gazing forward. If you have your blocks, this is a nice time to use them. Give you a little bit of a lift here. Some people use books too. Whew. As you exhale, send the hips back. Take a little bit of a stretch in the front leg. Point the toes up to the ceiling. Walk the hands, come back into that low lunge. The blocks are also good if it's too much pressure on the knee. You could just take a little pressure off with your hand. Okay, remove the blocks, hands to the mat. We're going to send this knee back. Come back into child's pose. Stretch it back. And then lift the hips up, tuck the toes, find downward facing dog. Bend the knees, gaze forward at the top of your mat, and step or hop to the top. Inhale, halfway lift, find that flat back, gazing at the top of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, reach up. Exhale, hands down through center. Step your right leg back, come into a high lunge position. Yeah. Lift the arms up to the ceiling. Playing with balance again, you're either going to step to the top. Option 1 would be step to the top and step back 3 times. Option 2 would be to step the knee through and hold on to it with the opposite hand. Option 3, same thing, hold on to the knee and then open into a twist. So starting in your lunge, whenever you're ready, choosing your option today, whatever it is, all of them will practice balance. As you exhale, choose your option. Step into the top, stepping the knee through, coming into a bit of a knee up twist. Yeah, take your time. When you're ready for the next inhale, send it back to that lunge position. Arms come up, little ta-da. As you exhale, choose your option. One more. Inhale, coming back into that lunge. Exhale, find your variation. We'll step back into that lunge. Bring the hands forward, step back to downward facing dog. You're going to take your right leg up to the ceiling. Yeah. We're going to step it through. Now this part's tricky, but do your best just to get it there. Step it through the top. And then do what you got to do to get into your low lunge here. Drop that back knee. So this is our low lunge on the other side. You can take your blocks for more support. Oh, you can shorten the stance if it's just way too much stretch. And then you always have that option to have the blanket in the middle of your mat for knee support. A nice big breath here. Send the hips back for a hamstring stretch. So we'll walk your block hands if you have them. Point the toes. Oh. And then walk it back to a lunge. Remove the blocks. Place your hands down. Send the knee back. Stretch back into child's pose. Find your downward facing dog. Gaze forward, bend the knees, step or hop to the top. Perhaps take a few steps and get there however you need to. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, soften the knees, let it all hang forward. Oh, when you're ready, bend the knees, press into your heels, reach up. Exhale, hands down through center. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So stepping back with your left foot this time, finding that lunge. And then choosing your option for this side. Hopefully the same thing, so you're even. Arms up. And then again, you're either going to step to the top, or you can step the knee through, or you can start with a step to the top, and then on the next one, try the knee. Inhale to step it back. Exhale as you find your variation again. Last one. Exhale. Place the knee back down, or place the foot back down, so you're standing at the top of your mat. We're going to do that hip stretch again, so bring your weight into your left foot. And this time it comes out and in. Out. So you have all that weight in your supporting leg. Out and in. Nice. 2 more. 5 is the number today. Bring it back to center. Switch sides. Find your balance first before you come into it. And again, these can be toe taps. Option 1. Option 2 is to not let the foot touch the ground. Nice control. Finding that lateral movement really comes into the core muscles. Last one. Nice. And the same thing, we're going to send the right leg behind the left. Take a little bow and stretch the side body. Boy. Back to center. Other side. And back to center. Let's take it down to the mat. So we're going to come into pigeon pose. But before we go there, I want to offer the variations first. If you're someone who has tight hips or sore knees, you might prefer. We'll come down to the mat and I'll show you the variations first. If you know pigeon and you like it, you can come right into your pigeon on the right side. Let me offer the variations here. So with the right foot in front of you, your right shin is in front of you, parallel to the top of the mat. And then your left leg would be here, knee in line with hip. This is a pigeon variation for those who have knee issues or tight hips or tight anything that wouldn't allow a pigeon pose. So what you can do in this variation is you can stay here, or you can kind of fold over that right knee. You just place hand on either side of the knee. You're leaning over to the corner. And you can start to come forward if that feels good. So it's a pigeon variation. So this knee is up closer to the body. If that doesn't feel right either, you come back into the figure 4 position, but sitting up. Yeah. And then pigeon, if you want to try it, if the knees aren't an issue. Pigeon would be the knee between the hands at the top of the mat and your legs stretched out behind you. And then the option to fold forward here. So there's a lot of variations to pigeon. It gets the same muscles. And it's all a matter of what you're feeling in your body, where your tension is. And even if you have blocks, you can use those. You can place your head on the blocks. Yeah, so finding that pose, whatever it is for you, you've got 3 options there. They're all stretching the same gluteus muscles around the sit bone. Once you've found it, taking a few breaths here. If you're in pigeon, just see if your hips are coming to the right and see what it feels like to find center with the hips. We'll stay for one more breath. And just making note of what position you're in before we find the other side. So we'll find the same position on the other side. If you're in pigeon pose, you can place your hands back on the mat. And to come out, you can come through downward facing dog, or you can come through tabletop position, so hands and knees. And then this time we'll come into your position on the left side, whatever you got to do. So if you're coming into pigeon, you'll take that left knee towards the left hand, the left side, and then stretching that back leg back. Yeah. And then using those blocks, if you have them, however you like. So supporting your hands, or supporting your head, or not at all. Just settling in on the other side. Using that soft breath to help you release any holding or tension. I like the blocks under my eyebrows just to release that extra eyebrow tension. Maybe that's just me. And staying for a few breaths on this side. Again, if you're in pigeon, just see what it's like to try to find center with your hips. Sometimes they sink to the left or sink to whatever side the leg that's in front is. See what center feels like. Preparing to come out of your pose, whichever one you're in. If you're in pigeon, place your hands on the mat. We're just going to come to seated. So you bring those legs out in front of you. And we're going to come into the windshield wipers again, just to release that. The hands behind you and just taking your knees from side to side. One more time on each side. Last one. Coming into a seated position. Whatever that means for you. I'm just going to cross my legs. I'm going to pull the fleshy part around my sit bones back so that I can actually sit without arching my back. Or hunching my back, yeah. Okay, just taking the arm in little circles. So I've got my right arm, whichever you want is fine. Just give the shoulders a little bit of love. And then take it in the other direction. Nice, and perhaps make them bigger this time I'm taking them back, if that feels all right for your body. My Michael doesn't realize how loud his voice is. I don't know if you can hear him or not. It's yet another Pro D day for the kids today. Okay, let's do the other side. That one feels nice and loose. Starting small, and just seeing what that's like. What does it feel like to have the fingers pointing to the ceiling? Oof. Try the other direction. And then take it bigger. However you like your hand. Let's try it pointing down this time. And the other way. In seated, if seated is really uncomfortable for you, which it is for most people because we don't sit on the ground in normal life, bolsters are really nice, or couch cushions, just something to elevate your hips so that your back and legs can relax. Okay, now both arms back. Reach them behind you. Chin towards the ceiling. Stretch the neck open. Point the chin forward. Really point it out. Release the arms onto the legs and gently take your chin towards your chest. Ooh, see how that feels. Just allow the head to become nice and heavy. Gently bring it over to one side until your ear is over your shoulder. Take the opposite arm and reach it out on the mat. Perhaps you're petting an animal, fuzzy dog or a cat. Bring the arm back in, take the head down and around to the other side. Always being really gentle with the neck. Once you've found that side, reach the opposite arm away from you. Again, maybe a cute animal comes by and you're petting it, so the hand is moving. And bring the hand back to your leg. Bring the head down to center once more. Gently bring it up to neutral. And then one more time, gazing up at the ceiling. Listening to your neck here, not going too far. Jut the chin forward. My dog does this stretch every day, and I see why. It's very tense. Now we'll bring it back to center. Okay, inhale, reach up. And exhale, bring your hands together, gently bring them slowly through center. Bowing forward. Just taking a moment to honor yourself for showing up for your body here today, in your mind and your breath. And closing our practice. Thank you, everyone.